Picture stepping into a place where everything just feels slightly out of reach, where conversations move too fast, instructions blurred together, and even introducing yourself feels like climbing a mountain. That was me 6 years ago. Hello, my name is Rahee Park, and I'm in grade 8. I'm here to talk about how I beat the odds of speaking English. I first went to an international school when I was in the 2nd grade, but there was a catch. I didn't know how to speak English. The only thing I knew were the alphabet and basic words like hi or hello. I didn't struggle a little. I understood nothing. Every class felt like I was trying to solve a puzzle without having all the pieces. I once remember sitting in the classroom, hoping, praying the teacher wouldn't call my name. My heart would beat so loudly I could almost hear it. I would rehearse one simple sentence in my head over and over again. Hello, my name is Rahee Park, and I am 8 years old. Terrified of embarrassing myself in front of everyone. Then the teacher called on me. Rahee, can you introduce yourself? It was the moment I was practicing for all this time. I slowly stood up. My hands felt cold. My mind went blank for a second. I could feel everyone staring at me. I turned to face the class, and I finally blurted out, "Hi, my name is Rahee, and I am 8." My voice was quiet. I stumbled over the words. It wasn't perfect. I quickly sat down and didn't say another word for the entire day. To most people in that room, it was just a short introduction. Something normal, something forgettable, something you can do even while sleeping. But to me, it felt like I had just run a marathon. That day, I realized something. Speaking even one sentence in a new language doesn't only require knowledge, but it also requires courage. After that day, the challenges didn't disappear. I still couldn't understand most of what the teacher was saying. In fact, it became harder. The lessons felt like they were double the speed, and I was always a few steps behind. When classmates worked in groups, it was even harder. Everyone would just start sharing ideas, and they would bond together, building on each other's thoughts. And I would just sit there, quietly, afraid of slowing them down. But the hardest part wasn't that, or the homework, or the tests. It was the feeling of not being able to show who I really was. In my head, I had opinions, I had jokes, I had ideas. In my own language, Korean, I was talkative and confident. But in English, it felt like my personality and my identity was just trapped behind a wall, banging to get out. I knew I wasn't incapable. I just didn't have the language yet. I could feel that not everyone believed I would catch up. Some people even lowered their expectations of me. But among every single person, there was one person who had faith. And that one person was me. Even though others doubted me, I made a decision. I would not let this define who I am. From that day on, I started building my English step by step. I carried a small notebook and wrote down new vocabulary words every day. I asked teachers to repeat things before and after class. I practiced speaking in front of the mirror. I read simple books at home. I watched cartoons in English and repeated sentences. I made mistakes constantly. I mixed up tenses. I mispronounced words. But instead of letting those mistakes stop me, I treated them as practice. Slowly, I started understanding more of the lessons. I could follow conversations. I began raising my hand more often. The first time I answered a question without rehearsing it in my head, it just felt like a victory. The girl who once sat silently in fear was beginning to find her voice. Years passed, and something incredible happened. English stopped feeling like a foreign language. I stopped translating everything in my head and began thinking in English. I could express my ideas more clearly and participate in discussions. I had beaten the odds. Not because it was easy or because some people just suddenly started believing in me, but because I believed in myself when it mattered the most. Learning English taught me something bigger than just language. It taught me resilience. It taught me discipline. But most importantly, it taught me that other people's doubts do not control your future. 6 years ago, I was afraid to introduce myself. Today, I can stand here and share my story confidently in English. I once felt like everything was out of reach. Now, I know that nothing is out of reach if you are willing to work for it. One word, one sentence, one brave moment at a time. Thank you.